Hello everybody, my name is Ryan Cozy, and I'm going to be your teacher for the next 5 weeks. The class that I'm teaching at Northeastern Seminary is Ministry 672 NE, and that's Strategic Planning for Churches and Nonprofit Organizations. And I'm looking forward to this time. I wanted to just take a moment to introduce myself to you, and then also just give a framework for how we're going to design the course on this fully online portal. And so just a little bit about me and my background. So I have been involved in a large regionally positioned church here in Western New York for the last almost 9 years. I work at a church called The Chapel. We are one church at essentially 4 locations. We look forward to adding other locations in the near future. But in addition to my role with regard to expanding, our presence here in the region, we're also my job also involves me thinking strategically about the region in terms of greater body church partnership, and church planting, the mobilization of everyday people, and strategic prayer throughout the region. And so that's kind of what I spend most of my days thinking about. Yes, we have a handful of campuses at our church here. But we've also planted over 25 churches over the last 8 years, and through an initiative called the Church Planting Initiative, CPI, we have started a collaborative church planting effort with other partners in the region, and that's something I'm incredibly excited about. We want to see 25 churches planted in the next 5 years here in the region. In addition to that, mobilizing everyday people is a very difficult thing, but that's some of the work that I'm in charge of here at this location. I come into ministry from a little bit of a different background, so I have a long connection to ministry over the last 20 years. I personally became a Christian in college at Bowling Green State University back in 1997 when a stranger befriended me and essentially shared the 4 spiritual laws with me. And as a practicing Catholic who grew up, I didn't have a clear understanding of the gospel, but this presentation of the gospel was laser clear to me, and I fully gave my life to Jesus back in 1997. Since that time, I've been involved in a number of different initiatives. I was involved in college campus ministry, college campus church planting at a local level, but also at a national level with a ministry by the name of Great Commission Ministries, now known as Reliant. Served in a national leadership capacity there. And I came back to do my doctoral work at the University of Buffalo in organizational assessment, organizational communication. And from that period of time, I launched into a career at the Chapel after completing my PhD and my postdoc at the University of Buffalo. So in addition to that, I've got some industry experience in project management as well. And so while I am a pastor at this local church, my function is really as a number 2. And so as a number 2, I'm not thinking about regular communication practices throughout the week. I'm actually thinking about ways in which our church can more strategically partner, and how we can better effectively mobilize people, how we can plant more churches, and how we can expand our influence in the region for the full saturation of the gospel throughout the region. We want to see that every man, every woman, and every child has repeated opportunities to hear, see, and respond to the gospel message of Jesus Christ. And so that's a little bit about me and my background. That's what I'm going to try to bring to the table. That is a passion for me, is I want for you all to feel like this course is a course about being a practitioner of the gospel. And one of the things I'm excited about for Northeastern is they've kind of opened the door to bringing practitioners in that have the academic credentials, yes, but that they're also working this out in everyday context. And so I'm very grateful for the seminary offering me this opportunity to kind of basically teach you as a fellow practitioner. So I'm not just a professor. I'm working this stuff out every day. And some days are better than others, I got to tell you. There's times where this is very difficult. But I love the opportunity of being a practitioner of the gospel with you as I teach you strategic planning. I think your class experience is going to be more rewarded because I'm going to talk with you about different successes and different failures along the way. A last note, a framework for the course that I'm going to teach you is for our course map with NES. We want to focus on 4 specific things each week, okay? Number 1 is we want to prepare you. We want you to understand what success in learning is going to look like. And so there's going to be assignments that you're going to get. There's going to be a specific block that I'm going to speak to you about each week called prepare. Okay, and a lot of it's going to stem from readings, but also different things that I'll give you, different resources I'll ask you, videos to watch, field guides to fill out as best you can. So I want you to prepare for each week. The second thing is I want you to understand. I'm going to introduce new ideas to you. I'm going to introduce those ideas through 3 specific things. The C.J.H. Wright textbook, which is actually right here, that you'll be reading out of. It's a great text, a great academic text. So it's gonna have a theological bent to it, but it's also going to be very helpful, I think. I'm also going to ask you to read from a missiologist by the name of Dwight Smith, who's been very impactful in my life and in the lives of other churches. And then lastly, I'm going to ask you to work out of the ChristTogether.org field manual or field guide. So I want you to prepare, but I also want you to understand. I'm going to introduce new ideas to you throughout those textbooks, and I'm going to ask you to focus on specific ones, perhaps more than others. And then the third thing that I'm going to ask you to do is to develop. I want you to evaluate how well and develop your understanding of the material. I'm going to give you some feedback, but I'm also going to give you the opportunity to position yourself to show me that you're developing in your understanding of these ideas. So on the front end of the first 2 weeks, I think we've got some discussion boards I'll ask you to submit to, but then we have assignments along the way. The last thing is turn in. You're going to have assignments each week that you're going to need to turn in. The first 2 weeks are discussion boards, and then the last 3 weeks are papers that I will ask you to submit, 2 exercises and then 1 final paper. So prepare, understand, develop, and turn in. That's the framework we're going to be working out of. As I close, I want you to be aware that you can reach out to me at any point in time. You want to give me a jingle, that's 716-631-2636, extension 227. And then lastly, the best way to reach me is by email at rkozey@thechapel.com. That's rkozey@thechapel.com. Take the class seriously. Take the assignments seriously. Do the work each week. I think it's going to help you to be a better practitioner of the gospel in your going. I want to see the full saturation of the gospel happen in my region. I believe that you probably desire to see that happen as well. I realize that we're in different positions, whether it's vocational ministry at a local church or at a local faith-based nonprofit, or maybe you're just a key volunteer or you're someone who's trying to be a better neighbor of the gospel in your region. I think this class is going to help you to be a better practitioner of the gospel. It's my hope and my prayer that I can get you there. God bless you, gang. Have a wonderful day. Look forward to being on mission with you over these next 5 weeks.